Well, well, good evening. My example is going to be for graphic organizers when working with ESOL students. And so, what my thought process was to compare some holidays, but with graphic organizers. Just to start off, basically, it allows your students to see a representation of the text that you're reading. Like, for instance, this one's on Kwanzaa. And then I also have one on the first night of Hanukkah. So what we could do, I thought of doing this as a unit plan, maybe where you're comparing different holidays over a 2-week period, with the holidays coming up, that kind of a thing, to introduce some culture into the classroom, and also look at different ways that people celebrate different times of the year, and not just Christmas. So. But with the graphic organizer, they're gonna read and reread, maybe even in groups. They could do this, discuss the content, and then explore those relationships within the text. The ELLs, it's good for vocabulary and for concepts. They become more organized for them and visual for them, so that they can better grasp that content. So they think more analytically. Because they're trying to compare and contrast with what's being read in the story. So the first thing is to identify the teaching purpose. As I said, mine for tonight would be comparing different holidays. So we would have read through, obviously these two books as a read aloud, and probably would have read, if it was a unit, would have read a different book on a different holiday each day, and done some different things within that, writing down some things, some commonalities, or some things about Kwanzaa in particular, and then some things about Hanukkah, and then taking those things the next day and putting them together in a Venn diagram. But you want to explain the organizer to them. I am using a graphic organizer called a Venn diagram. And so, students, what I would want to do, just to show you what a Venn diagram is, let me draw this out for you. If you've ever seen this before, there's a circle and then another circle, and they kind of overlap in each other. And so if I had something I wanted to compare, a teacher and a student, and you're going to compare teachers and students and what they do. And so then at this point you would ask them, well, what does a teacher do? And what does a student do? And you can talk about those things and maybe even write them on the board separately. And then see which ones are similar. Well, a teacher teaches, and a student learns. These could have been some of the things that they said. They both use computers. They both spend the day in class. One is working on a degree. I know this is sloppy. The other one has a degree. Teachers have a degree. Teachers are employed. Students are unemployed. That's the goal. And then another thing they could have in common is that they use textbooks. So that's an example of a Venn diagram. So at this point you would see in the middle the commonalities that teachers and students would have, and you could have a discussion with that. And then you would say, well, today we're going to go and look at our Hanukkah book and our Kwanzaa book, and we're going to compare and see what is similar and what is different with these two holidays. And so you would involve, the third thing is to involve the students in constructing that graphic organizer. So you have them pull out some paper, their notebooks, write out a graphic organizer. You could have them do it in groups where they create a poster, and maybe they, at the end of that unit, they're going to present the differences in holidays. You could split up a couple holidays per group and they compare and come up and give a presentation. But with Kwanzaa and Hanukkah, you could start the discussion, fourthly, with those connections and say, well, they're both holidays. So they would write holidays in the middle and then lead the discussion from there. And then you always want to provide additional practice in using Google, graphic organizers, and allowing the students to have different types of that to go with. There was another one that I saw that helps to prepare a 5-paragraph essay where you have at the top squares with the body paragraph points broken out and the conclusion at the end. So at the top you have the thesis statement in the main paragraph. Then you have the 3 body paragraphs, and then you have the actual conclusion at the end. So it helps them to see the differences in that. And you could even do that with the holidays. That could be their ending process with the unit where they write an actual 5-paragraph essay about a particular holiday of their choice. So graphic organizers give them a variety of perspectives when they analyze a text. So it's great for vocabulary and all of that. So I hope I helped you out with something, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.